Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Prospect Esports Showdown. Today, we have a great matchup for you. Today, we have Slipstream versus PNR. Slipstream holding on to that last playoff spot in the lower division, right at fourth place. PNR trying to make a statement here, trying to fight their way in. This is just going to be a great one overall. Laurel, what do you make of this matchup?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everyone knows this. I am well with my biases. PNR is one of my baby teams. They're a combination of both of my silver teams. A lot of people have speculated what PNR stands for. Some people think it's Park and Recreation. No, it's just Phantom and Revenant. It's it's literally the combination of both the teams. And I love my players, but I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off against Slipstream because the standings we have available, this is current. PNR is the last team, and most of that is because they're a free agent team technically, and Slipstream is fourth. So, being against the fourth to the last place, which I had to actually count because I had forgotten how many teams are in our lower division. They are in 10th place. I love my babies. I don't want to drag them, but I don't expect a lot of fantastical head-to-head matches tonight.
But the one thing that we gotta keep in mind is you'd always want to close out the season on a high note. That's one thing that PNR could still be going after. If they don't want to just roll over, they want to have a fun time here. And one thing that we got to note in the lower division, this is going to be mostly silver and gold gameplay. I saw that going on in the chat. So we're going to have a great matchup because just yesterday I saw a bronze take down some top 500 diamond and masters player on a 5k on themselves. Anything can happen in Overwatch. It's just getting the timing down. And I'm very excited for this, especially with these lower SR. You see a lot of play differential, especially breaking away from what you see at the top level. And it's kind of refreshing because everyone just gets to do what they're good at. And it's not following different metas. There's a lot of times that you'll see combinations you'll never see before, like Sigma and Monkey. I know when I was climbing up when I first switched over to PC, that was two heroes I saw play together a lot, even though there is no combination whatsoever for any meta with that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Michael. And PNR and Slipstream, you know, they are both competitive, but they are here to have fun. We already know which team is going into the playoffs. Clearly, it's going to be Slipstream over PNR, but let's have a good, clean match. Let's have a fun, clean match. And, we are starting off on Elios. That was PNR's choice. This being week 6, we're repeating week 5. So we have on the board it was between Ilios or Nepal. And, I'm excited to see Ilios because of the well. Silvers
Mhm.
love their hogs. But, we do have both teams ready. So we are going to go ahead and get started on Ilios Slipstream v PNR week 6.
And I do want to go back to that well map. I would love to see that come out for map number 2. It's a great time to come in and, right off the bat, it sets a different tone. But here we are at Lighthouse for our first one. This is my personal favorite on Ilios. Well, has my second place just because of the hole, and there's so much that you can do and play around it. But Lighthouse gives you a unique opportunity here, as there's a lot of different matchups you can take into this. You can run a brawl style underneath the Lighthouse and have them come to you, and you can kind of bunker in there. You can run brawl, you can run rush. This is where, if you want to run any hero, you really get that opportunity to here and not really be punished because of all the different sightlines that can be broken here.
Absolutely, absolutely true. We see a fair coming out by Cajun, which was interesting because he was in a support slot. But you know what? Maybe they're all flexes. We do see more of a European brawl coming out on PNR. But I'm excited to see this matchup. They have a lot of spam coming out on Slipstream with Avil on Sim and Cajun on with a pharmacy.
Mm. The number one thing I'm going to be watching for going into this one is Venom versus Cajun, as that's going to be your really only contest for this Farah here. Of course, you got Ben on the Diva able to jump up, but a lot of time in the lower gameplay, you don't really see that as they're just going to kind of just set up on point, kind of a dangerous take, and right away we see just PNR just set up and be able to wipe that down. A phenomenal start if you're PNR here, and just unbelievable. That was probably the fastest 5K I've seen in a game ever.
Yeah, that was so impressive. I'm so fucking proud of my PNR team. They reacted so quickly to that TP doing the Maywell. This shows the strength of why European Brawl is the meta choice right now. They just reacted so quickly to that wall. Slipstream is back already, trying to rain down some damage to reclaim this captured point. But once you have it, it's very hard. That wall goes out too early, though, I feel, and may hurt them in this fight.
And the other thing that went out early is this lamp, but Cajun already with their ultimate able to get a pick here and set up the rest of the team. But a response out of Mighty Owl trying to fight their way back, but it does not seem like it's going to be enough as Govin and Cajun just come back with their own 6K as well.
Yeah, this reverse sweep of it, it happened very quickly. I feel like that Cajun being so skilled on Farah to already have their ult despite dying so quickly is just really, really impressive.
And after we've seen these first two fights, this is a very even matchup that we've seen. The one person who has been absolutely engaged this entire time is Cajun. As we see them already at 60%, they're going to be able to get another ultimate near the end of this fight. That's one thing I want to take a note of before we move in. The Maywell just getting a little bit of distance, and Govin not able to connect, but gets a damage boost here and able to find the cleanup, even though not landing the hammer, just walking their way in and being able to just dish out a sheer amount of damage as DJ Breaks went for the reset, but Cajun going to be able to get the elimination for that with the concussion blast right behind them.
Yeah, the one great thing that this team has going for them, they are quick to reset. They know they don't want to waste any time. A lot of Silvers will continue to stagger and continue to fight well beyond their means. You know, they may pop ult that they don't need. So that quick reset works in PNR's favor because they can still turn this around, but they do need to speed it up a little bit.
And moving forward, one thing I want to note is that Snurk has been doing a great job actively keeping everyone engaged. And watch out as another barrage with a damage boost, able to clean that up. A great strat by Cardinal, able to keep them in that doorway. And that seems like it's going to be another team wipe in favor of Slipstream. And with 80%, this may be hard to recontest if Slipstream just moves forward and takes away all the space from them. And here we go, we're going into the last circle, 85%. We're seeing Mighty Owl trying to set the corner, trying to get them walking in. And with all the ultimates coming out early, they're trying to make the quick pin. A pin coming out on Mighty Owl. The hammer not connecting. Able still trying to walk their way down. Able to find one pick on Owl, working their way into the backline here. High Noon trying to find someone, finds the pick on Cajun. Tired able to follow up on Govin. They're going to be able to walk onto point here and try setting up. But Snurk getting the res on Govin in the backline. Beat coming out, able to enable the team, but Govin, after being res, able to get the slam in Cardinal with a great follow-up. That should be it off of a great res by Snurk, able to keep them engaged and being able to flip that team fight in favor of Slipstream at the end of that.
Yeah, that was an impressive start by PNR, but unfortunately, you know, just a cascading of team fights that went in Slipstream's favor. Now, we did see some amazing, you know, combinations of their ult and their management of their ults. This shows why Slipstream is in the 4th position. Cajun just building ult after ult after ult. I swear to God, he had a barrage every single team fight. And that is hard as a team to counter, especially if you don't have any self-mitigation. They are switching to a Lucio for their, or not switching to a Lucio, they are staying European Brawl with a Sigma off tank. Which makes sense because snipers are used so much, and that is going to be helping with the Farah and the Echo as well that Slipstream has been running. And, you know, I haven't actually seen that much play coming out of the Echo compared to Cajun, but that just could be because he's a fucking rock star right now.
Abel has been working a lot on the back end, being able to get the damage and being their kills a little bit stolen. I don't want to negate what they've been doing as they immediately come in and get the start on DJ Breaks there and Cajun able to finish up the other DPS, and this should immediately go to Slipstream, but I do want to take a note on Avel. They've had a lot of great ultimates, able to slow down this backline of PNR and being able to get one or two supports every single fight. A great job by them as we see another 2K coming out of them and able to finish up Froggy Bear.
It's almost as if he's listening to us. He was like, "Oh, casters, let me show you. I'm just gonna clean up the whole team of PNR." Yes, I had no doubt that the Pharaoh was doing their hard work, Avilix, but I was just seeing so much occasion.
And as we move forward, one of the switches off of Reinhardt to Orisa going down quickly off of a power boosted headshot. Avel having the listens and keeping the aggression going, finding another 2K to start off this fight. And now they're going to be able to engage on the Sigma, trying to get the stagger going. And they do get Sigma, and they're working onto the backline, and another pick on Froggy Bear, and a great bubble to let them be able to get out as they come out with their own pharmacy. But you got to be careful. DJ Breaks already about to go low with some great shots coming around. Snurk able to find the finishing blow here, and Avel just sitting on top of the body, making sure that they do not get the res. A very heads-up play to be able to keep the mercy from the res here. As we're already at 70%, they're a great anti coming out now, and Govin able to finish that up. The grab not able to connect, but it does create a little bit more space. But DJ Breaks trying to get a little bit of momentum of their team here, finding the pick on Snurk, and Cardinal finding the returning answer as the Bugsta able to get the res on Snurk in the backline, and Cardinal now working their way up. They're making their way to the door here, able to find a 2K. If they're able to keep this aggressive hold, no one's going to be able to get a touch with 90% left. The only person really available will be DJ Break as they make their way across, and Farmus damage. They are nanoing Mercy, and they're sending Mercy into the backline on Guardian Angel, able to find the pick on Venom to finish that one out. A very aggressive playstyle does pay off for them in the end.
Yeah, sometimes a Valking Mercy is more scary than a Pharah because she has extreme mobility, she has endless bullets, and sometimes it's just an insult ult. This was a massive, amazing play. Everything that went into Slipstream's favor. I do have to give mad fucking props to PNR for their quick reaction and just takedown of that spot.
I completely agree. PNR did start off very strong there. They just need to be able to capitalize once they make that space. That's something that they gave up right away that should be noted, is they just kind of sat back onto point and let the Slipstream's Pharah be able to engage onto them without any contestation. With the double hit scan and a Devos, they should have been taking any type of high ground advantage, or being able to make the Pharah have to look multiple directions, not being able to maximize their utility there.
Yeah, for sure. Some of it comes down to pacing. And impressively, Avalex and Cajuns with their flyers were able to take out a pick early, and ultimately to stop the rotation before it even began in a lot of those instances. So I'm hoping that we see a little bit more hit scans. Matching Pharah to Pharah is not necessarily a bad idea if your Pharah is strong enough, if your Mercy can pocket your Pharah, because a Pharah by herself is always going to lose against a pharmacy.
And that is a great point there. As PNR answered with their own Pharah, they were able to find a couple picks in the back line, being able to create that opportunity to push in. It was one of those opportunities that they never really had after the first map. They were able to start breaking things wide open, and Pharah did have no pocket there for a little bit, as someone had to drop back and be able to go for that res. And this is something I want to see more as we're moving to Hanamura. This is going to be this is probably my favorite assault map in the game right now. They have a lot of different angles that you can attack this, from high, from low, from flyers to runners and soldier. There's so much opportunity here for defense and offense to make plays. And I do want to see Farah coming out on PNR side, as they were able to start off with a lot of great aggression with that, and be able to set their own pace and not allow Slipstream's Far to really be able to engage on them.
Yes. We are going to Hanamura this time, which is not necessarily the strongest Pharah map, but definitely an incredibly strong Echo map. I have seen Pharahs to be able to pull off amazing plays, but that's probably explaining why they are pulling out Cajun for Atomic Devil. I don't remember Atomic Devil's hero pool, but it makes sense to swap out the extremely strong projectile player for Hanamura. Now, Slipstream will be starting on defense this map, which how do you feel about teams, picking defense or attack?
I do really like the defensive front to hold things off. It gives you that quick win condition for yourself, and it knows what you need to do going on to attack. It is all in your hands if you're able to just make that hold right away. And then even if you don't hold it, you know your own destiny going forward. While if you're attacking, it's a little bit harder to have your feet back on the end line for yourself if you're defending second. That's always been me first. I always say defense wins championships, but you also have to give credit because offense does win it too. I personally like starting off on defense though, just because of everything noted that I did say. And also, I've just always been anything I've always done, I've always started off with the defensive front. So it's a little bit of biasism there.
Yeah, I do think it helps you set the pace. It also lets you see what the team is going to be playing on that map, and have that upper hand of knowing that they're going to be playing a certain style comp first instead of on your attack, where on attack the time bank is already working against you. Now, I do want to remind our audience that we are running a prediction poll of who is going to win what. I completely forgot to announce it for first map, but we will have that up. I want to see some votes. We had 100% going to Slipstream, and somebody made easy points challenge bank on that.
And one thing I do want to note here, as we see Slipstream going with the Junkrat. Junkrat is very strong because of the ability of just holding down small areas, as we see this doorway in the middle of Hanamura being one of the only ways that you can really attack here. DJ Breaks or Venom needs to do a great job being able to engage them into the backline or be able to negate Junkrat's damage up front so they can engage and be able to get a great push onto this. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Venom like TP to the high ground and Maywell able to bring him across in some form or capacity here.
Yeah, and I do see Evolex doing their own Symmetra, so I feel like they're trying to set up already expecting a TP strategy in play, because so many teams in this SR use the TP strategy to get on point.
And one thing, Devil already finding the elimination on breaks, which is going to open things up because they already know a little bit what they want to run, and that's going to take the first 20 seconds off the clock. A very heads-up play out of breaks, able to get that elimination early. And now we're already 30 seconds in, you know that they at least have a Mei, and as they go for the TP here into the backline, a great rock out of Sigma, able to just break that up, as they now have to wait as Venom is going down, and now they may have to go for another reset here, as we see Slipstream with a great hold, starting off by Cardinal, able to rock everyone off of that, and then the team following up to destroy that teleporter. A great heads-up play.
Yeah, it really was a great chain of events. It almost looked like PNR was baiting out the TP because they saw all of Slipstream pull back. But here their TP comes out high ground.
A great pick there on Froggy by Devil. That's all you really need with a tire. You don't need those 5Ks as everyone is just swinging away on point. And this should just be another cleanup here for Slipstream, as once again they just baited out that teleporter, and Devil was already there, just ready for it.
Now Mighty was able to run all the way back out to Van. What an impressive last pick by that, by Cardinal. That is going to really hurt PNR's chances to push and have a easily timed momentum. This is really in Slipstream's favor of, this is happening when we want it to happen and only when we want it to happen.
That is a very good point, as we see DJ Breaks only at 50% now, that means that they've been doing a great job of keeping the Mei at bay, not being able to farm up any ult, and going for Mei first, as they know that they are one of the strongest characters on this roster. One thing to note, both support ults are up for PNR, and I am having trouble with my words right now.
That
As
is
we see
okay.
Govin being able to hold this door, they're going to be looking for a shatter here, just trying to hold them a little bit off, but we're actually going to get Govin able to start this off, getting the eye lamp out, even though that it doesn't yield too many eliminations. Atomic Double going for the backline once again, able to find 2 here, both DPS going down, and that should be another team win off of Atomic Double's tire.
Yes, in that Graphic Flux, unfortunately, we saw the beat come out and the lamp. So I did not see that going in the favor of PNR, and now they're down their beat, which they're switching to a Mercy. That's probably a good decision. They need a little bit more boosting to get through this point. This is a hard choke for a lot of teams. They actually see a huge change in a lot of things, Mighty turning to Orisa and Venom turning to Hanzo. They need more spam to get through here.
And the number one thing that they're going to need is DJ Breaks to have a big ultimate here. You need to freeze at least 1 or 2 people, 1 being a tank and 2 being a support. You got to get something going for your team, as we see the ultimate starting to come out now. Venom already with the pick on Debuxta, and we're seeing all the defensive ults coming out now as Coalescence is trying to keep everyone a little bit back, not able to yield any eliminations, but able to keep the rest of the team engaged, as Govin able to push up a little bit. Watch out for Shatter here as they're walking in, and they're just going to be holding this. I don't quite agree with that, and Govin going down to DJ Breaks, and now we see PNR starting to push through, but you gotta get rid of these turrets. As Avelix able to get 2 eliminations on their own, Peter Panning able to clean up, and Avelix once again, someone has to do something about these turrets, as Avelix going in for a 4K, gets a 5K, able to hold this doorway nice and tight, even though they didn't use Shatter. Avelix just said, we don't need it, I'll take this myself.
Yeah, you know, we were joking before the cast started about how to pronounce that person's name, and I was joking saying it's like Advil X, because your headaches are no more now that they're on their team. And oh my god, yes, they just sweeped the rug with their Symmetra. Their turrets bearing down on everybody, because when the time's running out, you just run forward as hard as you can. Sometimes you forget that there's a turret shooting in your back, and it was a well-placed turret. It was a well-based beam that they were just shooting down on everybody. Now, we are now on a defense for PNR, and we know by the state of the aggression that Slipstream is super fast when they move in. I hope to see that same reaction that we had on first team fight for PNR, because they do hold it once they have it. So hopefully you guys can out hear my animals. Both of them are very cranky right now. They're like, we want to see some team action.
And one thing I do want to note as we're going to be moving forward here, DJ Breaks going back on May here, they're going to need to do a great job walling this off, as I feel that Slipstream, they're just going to go straight to point here. Actually, they had switched right off of Lucio. I thought that they're going to get a speed boost coming in, as we have a pause coming in here now. We are able to really just dive into this team comp, as we're seeing Govin and Cardinal running Ryan Zarya. One of these, they've always been a strong duo together, and Cardinal just been doing a great job on Zarya today, off of the backs of Peter Panning and Debuxta, able to keep these tanks active and engaged, which is one thing that, if you're a support, I feel bad because you don't really get the notice that you should be getting, because if you're doing your job correctly, you're kind of just in the background. But these tanks have been super active and engaged, because Buxta and Panning have just been able to just dish out all the healing they need.
Yes, that pause was because we had a new member join, and I always auto pause if it's at the start of the match and I need to change specs. You know, unfortunately, PNR inviting someone in the middle of the match did kind of give away their strategy, because that general spectator is going to see what they were playing. But at this point, everyone had picked. They're walking out of the gate.
And as we're moving in, Mighty Owl already taking a couple of dangerous shots, and they're going to get the TP right onto right above point. They're actually going to go for the backside here, and PNR doing a great job realizing that they're going to drop on the back, but Devil finding 2 eliminations themselves, and Cardinal able to just walk their way in. This should be a quick team win for Slipstream here, as they set the win condition for themselves, getting the stronghold and just taking it within 50 seconds of this round starting.
Yes, you know, when you have a sim and a junk, you want to hold smaller areas. So it was smart for Slipstream to hold that point, especially knowing that they were most likely going to have a sim. I believe this is when Ablex just pretty much cleaned up the entire
Mm.
team with their beam.
And this is one thing that is to be noted, that no one really tried to take out those beams there on the side wall, as they just kind of were able to get to tier 3, and at tier 3, her beam just does so much damage. Sim needs to be a high priority target after that gets to even tier 2, so she can't get to tier 3.
Exactly. You never want a sim to a tier 3 unless they're your sim.
Mm. Very agreed. And PNR now in an interesting position, being down 2-0 in the series, best of 5. They're going to need to come back as they are choosing King's Row. And I've been seeing some aggressive holds on King Row even after the first point has been given. One thing I want to note is, I don't know if this is just a new strategy, but people have been holding in the left of spawn door. If you're looking at it in the little background right where the card spawns, the last 3 games I've casted for King's Row, everyone has just been holding there. I don't know if this is the new meta on King's Row or what's going on, but it's been working for the more aggressive team being able to get in there.
Yeah, I do agree. Now, and this wasn't teams that were rolling the other teams too. This was also happening in an extreme team where both teams were evenly matched. It's just an impressive level of aggression that people are holding before Archway, which is, normally the place that Brawl holds. But I definitely agree. I have seen more and more teams holding all the way to spawn door. I wonder if this is coming from where European Brawl is so aggressive. They are always so far forward. They are really fast paced. They're coming up to the predecessor of what Brawl used to be, which is just fast smack in your face.
Mm. And one thing I also want to note as we're moving forward is Cajun is coming in for Avlix here. A interesting swap, as we may see Cajun going over to tank, but I would have thought on King's Row that we would have seen some more pharmacy, as they've just been absolutely dominant, especially after the first two maps on Ilios that we saw. Just absolutely dominant, being able to get their ultimate very quickly. I would be surprised
Yeah.
if we don't see them on fire here.
Now, I do have to say that Cajun was replacing Ablex. That is one of their DPS slots. I'm not quite sure what lineup they go by, but it's not traditional tank DPS supports because they had their DPSs on the outside,
Mm.
and honestly, I have not remembered who was who in the middle because unless it's in the lineup, my brain just goldfishes it out of existence. We do
Yeah.
have a ready from both teams, so we will be going to King's Row. This could be the match game if it goes into Slipstream's favor. Let's hope maybe that PNR pulls out some great scrims row strategies and is able to come back.
And one thing to note is Atomic already on the Junkrat again. Once again, Junkrat being a very strong pick on King's Row. But if you're PNR, you got to come out with some form of hit scan. Maybe a Widow, maybe an Ashe, being able to just disengage from the Junkrat in the choke and be able to do some backline damage here. And it's going to be interesting to see what Cajun picks off of Devil's pick here as well.
Yes, and I got super quiet because Lobby was doing a weird thing where it was saying not enough players and it was letting people just walk around. So,
I saw that too.
unfortunately,
It wasn't
yeah,
just you, don't you
unfortunately,
worry.
Slipstream had their entire comp already picked out, so hopefully PNR can see that and react.
And we're going with a Sim Bastion. My absolute. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings for that, but that's what I've been running to on DPS. It's a really fun strategy. I like having the teleporter not out of spawn, but able to move the Bastion around. As we're going to see TJ Prakes probably take on top of Statue, which is a very commonplace hold there. And Cajun actually being swapped out for tank here, as they're going right on Rhine, and we're seeing Cardinal and Devil having a May Junkrat for kind of that wall and conquer type of team play. But with DJ Breaks and Venom on Bastion and Sim, this could be very dangerous to start this off. And this is going to be a matchup to watch, as they're just coming straight out, using the bus for cover, trying to hide what they have. And right on top, here comes DJ Breaks, just trying to find someone in the back line, and everyone doing a great job of adjusting. And Atomic Devil doing a great job, able to take down DJ Breaks, and a great wall coming there, and a pin out of Cajun on Ben, able to open this one wide open. And even though it seemed like the matchup should have favored PNR there, Atomic Devil had other plans for this, and able to just set the tone once again.
Yes, they pumped a lot of resources into DJ Breaks on top of the statue. They had the Sigma go up there to just put his shield up, which did help from the main point's perspective, but Atomic being on the off angle like an intelligent, smart DPS, just shot him from the back. He's like, nah, Bastion, it's your butthole. Atomic getting down Mighty, which is going to completely stall this next push. They're going to have to figure out a way to get rid of Atomic. Gavin getting rid of Ben as well. This is just not looking good for PNR right now.
And PNR wisely going back to their spawn doors and waiting for both tanks to spawn before they get a little bit more of a stagger going. And with the entire team coming out with Reaper and McCree here, they're going to be looking to kind of just decentralize this and take these tanks down with aggression. But watch Devil on the flank here, actually now rotating backside as they hear him coming up the stairs. Sorry. Something
Yeah,
just
I think
flew.
it's going to be a really cheeky tire or something from Atomic being above them. They're kind of giving all of the space away, coming out with Tire, knowing that they're going to be in a small area, but Immort saves everyone's life, but they are purple as well, so they have to hold until they can restabilize.
And that's sorry on my part. A bug had flown into my mouth, but moving forward, we're having PNR coming back onto this point. And a great block out of Mighty there. And they need to keep Mighty up as they're very low on health. And Snurk able to take this down. And these two ultimates being Blizzard and Coalescence is going to be able to just kind of take this down as Cardinal gets 2 picks themselves. And Atomic Devil able to farm up their ultimate a little bit more here with that last pick on Froggy.
Now, Froggy did try to use their window in the back area, trying to just keep his team up, trying to get some picks. You know, using window pretty much on cooldown as a piece is not a bad idea sometimes, because that team could have gone in their favor had Froggy been able to keep everybody up. But it's unfortunately with Blizzard and Cole, those are deadly combinations. Now they are using a wall to their advantage to rotate high ground. Again, Atomic raining down on them.
And I would like them to stay up there a little bit longer with DJ Breaks, but they already dropped down. And a great grab, able to separate this, and the wall coming out to separate the Reinhardt. A very great play there, as iField not able to get the connection to keep them alive, as Cajun gets a free shatter, but Ben able to break that down, and the freeze on Ben is going to be able to open this up a little bit more. And someone needs to do something about the Sigma as they pull 3 into this, and dropping 2 on the grab, both DPS going down. And Govin just trying to do anything here, trying to get themselves out, but it's not going to be enough, as that should be this first point for PNR, finally able to break through this strong defense that we've seen by Slipstream.
Yeah, we saw that early shatter coming out of Cage and getting blocked, and it's going to hurt Slipstream's ability to hold off PNR for a little while. Now, Cajun has been able to build his shatters fairly quickly, so we may see Cajun overtaking Mighty again in that ult economy, but for right now, they are holding at arches. We are not seeing the straight to spawn door strategy. TP for the Venom going high ground, but immediately
Watch
drops.
for
Never
Devil
mind.
here. Devil looking for a flank here, and here comes the tire. They're going to be able to light up 3 here if this is going to be able to pop, and they get 2 on it. And the rest of the team kind of over-investing into this fight after they already got 2 picks off of the tire, but it will do it. They will be able to take over. That's a little too much that you don't want to see out of Slipstream. Investing Coalescence, a Nano, and Mayfreeze on top of that as well. You're still going to have your both your tank ultimates here, but you kind of invested a little too much, and this is going to be PNR's opportunity to blow this wide open.
For sure, you know, we have High Noon with DJ and Venom with Reaper. You know, I saw Venom trying to set up and make plays, and that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to start off with that. Now, Beat did come out last fight on Tired, and that may give them a disadvantage, but they are opting to completely ignore the cart to get behind Slipstream. Hopefully this strategy pays off, otherwise they're using a lot of time.
Oh, what?
sleep off of.
What a sleep dart there, able to keep their team still engaged and being able to get them away themselves. This is going to give them the opportunity as Snurk able to get the pick on Froggy Bear and able to keep the rest of the team alive. Snurk with a very wise play, able to get the sleep dart and then just being able to keep the team going. And that will be another team win for Slipstream.
Yeah, it made my support heart so happy to see the reaction, to plan out the timing. Some Anas will sleep too early during that animation, sometimes a little too late. Now, Venom, you've been holding on to your ult for so long. Tire coming out again by Atomic, grabbing nobody that they were able to destroy by DJ Blake. Reaper getting Gavin, which is going to be huge, but Coalescence coming out, trading picks, just cleaning up the team at this point. Cajun getting binned down as well.
And that all starts with a great block out of Cajun there, as they still want a little bit more, as they're just trying to get a little bit of stagger. With 27 seconds here, we're going to be approaching last fight territory. Even if PNR wins this fight, we're going to see Slipstream going to be able to hold this so aggressively that even if they all drop, they'll get one more recontest near the end of this, as everyone's coming up with 15 seconds left. You have Ben coming out with their ultimate with the high noon combo, able to find double on the first one. May's ultimate going to be able to get a lot of freezes in this, and 4 being frozen, and they're just going to be able to capitalize, getting 2 down. Tired and Venom both dropping here while they were frozen, and this could change the tide of this as Snurk is being separated. Another sleep, a great sleep there, but they are going to be dropped themselves as Govin is just holding a little bit high. They need to drop back with the rest of the team and be able to recontest at the end of this, as Govin is going to be able, and Peter going to be able to escape as well, as we're seeing Froggy coming out with their ultimate a little too early, as the rest of the team can just avoid this if they wait on the corner. And Cajun, a nice wall there out of May on Cardinal, and Cajun going to be able to re-engage here, and watch out as they are going to actually be dropped by Venom. And this fight is so close as Venom able to get another pick. Mighty Owl just pushing this in. Cardinal not able to find the freeze as there's only 2 left on point. It seems like PNR is going to be able to clean up and be able to take this, as once again Snurk finds another sleep dart.
What is up with these amazing sleeps coming out of Snurk? That was just, I love it when Orion gets sleeped on top of Cart and Cart moves away from him and he's just like floating in midair for a second. It's so comical to see. But yeah, we saw some misplays by Slipstream's tanks pushing up too far forward and just giving the PNR a chance to really take advantage of that.
As we see Cajun already being able to engage very well in very organized fashion, as they have their ultimate here, but their shield's going to be low, as they are just going to accidentally shatter into that. But another block out of Cajun, and the Coalescence should be able to clean this one up as Cajun gets 2, and Tyre finds the other 2 here. Once again, they invested a little too much in my opinion, using Shatter. They used Graviton, they used Beat, and they use Coalescence. They will have Snurk's Nano, and they will have Cardinal's ult, but once again, this is going to be PNR's chance to blow this wide open with 30 seconds left. This is going to be the last team fight in this round, and a great push out of PNR every time with their back against the wall. Will they make it 3 for 3? And here they go, they're pushing down. They got to get Owl up health a little bit higher as they're already below half. Froggy Bear also low. A great Blizzard once again able to find the pick on Mighty Owl, and they have another 2 frozen, and the Reaper ult able to just be canceled out of Atomic Devil, able to cancel that right away, and it's just Ben on cart with 5 seconds remaining. And even though that they were able to force their sums in these last 2 times, it will not be 3 for 3. A great hold out of Slipstream, giving them another win condition here.
Yes, there's so much that happened. The skeptic in me is wondering, this was Slipstream's first casted match. And they mentioned this at the start, otherwise I would have forgotten, unfortunately. Because we do have 4 matches a week. Now, if I was Slipstream, would I be over-investing my ults on purpose just to get more casted time? I don't think that's the case, because a lot of teams over-ult, but they've been so smart with their ult rotations in previous matches, and it almost... I don't know, I don't want to call them out for trying to prolong it, but it just feels that way because they're playing so differently. Now, we did see a lot of swaps coming in and out on Slipstream, but they just seem to be playing a little less smartly, that's not a word, smartly than they did before.
But that is the one thing that happens at these lower elos is that we do see a lot of ultimates invested when they don't need to be. We saw them pull tire a couple times, even though that they were able to yield 2 to 3 eliminations. That was on the back end of the fight when you actually really didn't need it there. And even though Devil has been able to farm their ultimate quickly, it just wasn't needed at that time. And that's one of the factors that is just holding these players a little bit lower. As we see the skill in each one of these players playing today, it's just these little tweaks that will be able to get them to
Mm.
the next
See,
level.
see, Puma, you feel it was just silvers being silvers, yo.
A little bit.
That's fair. That's
Because
fair.
we are in silver and gold, and every single time you play a lobby like that, you'll see that happen. As a back cap is going to be coming out here, and they will not get the first tick right away, but they'll get a great hold here as Cajun and Coven are just being actively engaged by their supports. And Devil able to get the cleanup here with their. Wow, I'm sorry, so much just happened in that short amount of time. I'm having trouble speaking again. But with the turns being well placed underneath that door frame, no one really acknowledged that, and they were able to use the damage from the turrets combined with the tank damage to just take that so quickly.
Now, Atomic is pulling back to be on the card duty. Historically, it's normally a support, but this is a really smart decision because Atomic takes a while being Sim to warm up and engage in a team fight. Now, losing their heavy hitter that may put them on a disadvantage, but Gavin's still being able to take Mighty and getting rid of the Immort as well, pulling out Venom as well from the fight. Gavin, buddy, you are just so aggressive. I love it.
Yeah, and they're not done yet. They want to keep pushing them all the way back and give their card the farthest time that they can. And they want to have as much time as they can, as they already have 5:11 on the clock right now, and they're holding right where this second objective needs to be, and they're just pushing, and they're just getting splash damage on this corner as Mighty Owl is now coming up to fight this. But you gotta be careful as Cajun has their ultimate. They're looking to bait this one out as they're low, and they get a 3k shatter, and this is gonna be really deadly as Devil is able to follow up, and Coalescence being able to actively engage everyone and getting the damage, able to take away this eye lamp, and that's gonna be another team fight win, and they're gonna be easily able to push this into objective number 2.
Yes, Cardinal is pushing up forward with their ult. They're probably going to try to get them shut down immediately to just really get the most time bank that they possibly can. You know, Ryan v. Ryan's Mighty versus Cajun, it's all a mind game of when you have Shatter, when do I need to block it?
Watch for Cardinal here as they're dropping down, and they're going to be able to find DJ Breaks, the #1 counter to that, and they use grabbed also just they're going for it all here as Mighty Owl also goes down, and Cardinal able to find another 2, even though that they didn't find that on their ultimate. They're still popping off as it's just one on card, and that is it. A clean sweep out of Slipstream, able to take it in 3.
Yes, and you know, that was a valiant effort by Venom to try to stall as long as possible at the end, TPing on point and then just racing around. You got to give him props for trying to give his team as much possible. This was a great tire by Atomic, you know, able to get Baps and DJ Breaks just completely stopping this. And this is when they over-ulted. They clearly had the fight at that point, but Slipstream was able to ultimately take 3-0 from PNR.
Yeah, and just Slipstream played very well today. There was only a couple times that they all invested their ultimates when they didn't need to, and that was just on the last map. But overall, we just saw them just perform so well today. And you know, one of the reasons for this was just the ability to switch different players, as Cajun swapped from Farah to Reinhardt and was actively engaged in either role that they were in.
Yes, we are going to get a poll up. By the way, we need an MVP of both teams, so make sure this current poll is going to be between Cajun, Snurk, and Avalix. I don't hate these choices. These are great, strong players. Snurk with the amazing sleeps. Avalix, of course, being on the Echo, and Cajun. This can either be his play during Rhine, his play during Farah, or take them both at the same time, because you know what? Being able to dual role at a great level, even in silver and gold, is very impressive.
Hmm. And, I'm not really too sure who I would want my pick to be, so I'm going to toss it over to you and say, who is your pick for MVP out of Slipstream
Snark.
here? Dirk?
100%, 100% just my bias there. No, for an actual answer, I loved what the DPSs were doing. They were well supported by their supports, uh, being Snark one of them, but ultimately Cajun just taking the bank with his Pharah.
Yeah, I gotta go with Cajun too, and it wasn't just the far gameplay that won me over. It was also the versatility on Reinhardt, being able to block as many shatters as they did. It's one of those things that seems easy to do when you just talk about it, but it's not. And Cajun just made that look easy. I think they blocked four shatters in the combination of offense and defense, which is no easy feat. And just on the back end of that, being able to land their own shatters and being able to just get 3 to 4 people each shatter and having the team engage on that every single time.
Yes, excuse me. We do have our poll almost down to one, and Snark coming out with 100% of the votes. I wonder if it went in that favor because I immediately said Snark. I'm just gonna say it's me. But I will drop down and get Snark ready for this interview. Puma, get them questions flowing. We will have an
Mm.
MVP of PNR on the board next. Be sure to vote for them as well. And while we're thinking of this, who would be our most shittiest player, Puma, on Slipstream?
Oh my god, that is a very tough question as everyone just performed well today. If you had to give it to anyone, I I don't know if I can really name anyone as they all just performed extraordinary well. I-
It's hard. It's
It's
hard,
just
buddy. Yeah.
it's unfair, especially when they just played so cleanly. I really don't have a MSP today out of Slipstream, but if we really need to pick one, I don't know, maybe Peter Panning for having a couple extra coalescence in there when they weren't really needed. That would be my only nitpick out of this, as they just played so well and so coordinated today.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Peter Panning's idea behind that was because I'm a Moira, I'm a cold chain. I can get these whenever I want. But we definitely, yeah, I would have to agree just because the coal was overkill.
And that's also not a overpick for Peter Panning because when you do play more, you do get that coalescence almost every single fight with just one orb able to get you up to like 40% if done correctly. So it's not in a bad way that we're saying that you overused it, but we're just nitpicking because Slipstream just did so well today.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. That is just a nitpicky thing. Peter Panning was an amazing support player all around, but we are going to see that Mighty Owl gets the MVP of PNR. You know, she is my admin head of managers. She is also the manager of her silver team, and she really does rally her team together. She had great shatters, she had great reactions. That point on Ilios was fucking gold. I hope she clips it. I definitely think she does deserve PNR. So let me go grab these guys because we are in week 5. We have started, or excuse me, week 6. We have started to delete. Uh, we have started to delete voice channels, and they are having a little issue.
And on the back end of this, if we did have to give any other recognition on PNR, I would say probably Froggy, as they had a lot of different great eye lamps being used and utilized correctly. And especially with the cooldown being 30 seconds, you need to use that in the most optimal ways. We saw Froggy able to keep a lot of different players alive and just very well rounded gameplay out of Froggy there.
Yes, we have a lot of love for both teams. We now have Snurk in public call. I will be dragging them up. Winnie, my bird's like, oh yeah, let's ring the bells.
And I'm Very excited. And hello, Snurk. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the win. And one thing I gotta note for you is you had a lot of great sleep darts in all three of maps there. Just unbelievable stuff. And going into this, after this win, how do you feel going into playoffs?
Well, I don't know about this win specifically, but I think, especially after last game, I think Slipstream has been, focusing on, our core, making calls, playing together as a team, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I have to say, for playoffs, I'm not sure if this win will secure you a place in playoffs. Because I am brand new to the organization this year, but I have a feeling you guys did just secure your round into the playoffs because it is the top four teams that go neck and neck next week. We have Josh, Frostnova, Gannicus, and you guys in the top four positions. How do you feel going against some of these teams? Josh being the powerhouse that they're known to be in Gannicus and Frostnova right behind them.
I mean, I think us versus Gannicus and Frostnova we're pretty close. I'm looking forward to playing them again. Josh, they've got that star player who.
Yeah, they have their star player Josh, and quickly followed up by Josh right there. So they are definitely a fun team to cast. I was able to watch your guys' Gannicus match before, so I have a feeling that you guys are going to be a lot of fun to cast next week.
We have some of the, we do the sim strats and stuff. I like to think we're fast.
Oh yeah, you guys have a great synergy, a great timing, and it's been a lot of interesting plays. Now, we did start to note on the end of King Row that you guys were over alting. Was that just how would you explain that?
I mean, I know there were definitely a couple that there were a couple times I overulted. I think one example was I kind of threw nano boost on our Zarya, and I think we had kind of made the call that we were down, but they were also down, and we were trying
Mm-hmm.
to play the kill feed, like
Yeah.
the clutch fights where those ults are useful at the end is where it feels like you're behind, but actually, you might be a little bit ahead because if you kind of can account for the amount of time it takes people to get back from spawn, you might not be as behind as you think you are, right? Like if you have the spawn advantage, for example, and the trades are even, but then actually it's not even, it's an advantage for you because your reinforcements are going to get back sooner.
Definitely, for sure. And sometimes it comes down to who did you kill? If you kill the support, it's not, or excuse me, your support's down. That's almost like a 4v6 at that point because your support carries so much sustainability. And Snark, you did a great job staying alive. When Reaper teleported to you, you reacted so quickly and was like, "Bye bye, baby."
Yeah, I had I think maybe I got dove like three times, and I got one sleep, one death, and kind of one just run away.
Mm-hmm. Great reaction time for an Ana because that you are the sustainability and the life source of your team.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a Moira. Peter Panning is a pretty strong Moira player, so
Of
wasn't
course,
too
yes.
concerned. But yeah, definitely as Ana, you have to look out.
Now, do you,
Definitely. And
oh,
one
go
thing
ahead,
I
Kuma.
do want to note is, you did secure a playoff berth. How do you go ahead, as you said that you did play these teams in the past? How do you start breaking this down and preparing your team for this for the first round of the playoffs?
Well, I think we don't have a lot of kind of like team opponent specific strats, but we do just kind of do our regular training. We do a lot of scrims, which are good. Um, and just kind of just keeping up the fundamentals, playing together as a team, having good shot calling, I think is probably
Hmm.
one of the most important things.
I have to agree there. A lot of gold and silver teams do not have any shot calling or, structure. And that's one thing I love about our lower divisioners. You guys are amazing teams, strong opponents, and it's always a joy to cast and to see, some of your big brain moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to hand it to PNR. They were really good about engaging as a team, and they had a lot of good. There were a lot of good calls. You could tell that they were really coordinated, and that they were very practiced.
Yes. I do have to agree with that. Now, Snark, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to go ahead and get the MVP uh, interviewed for PNRs. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Mighty did win the PNR for or the PNR, the MVP of PNR. I'll let you handle this interview a little bit more because you don't know her like I do.
That's fair enough.
Because I'll just rain praise on her.
Hello, how are we doing today?
Hello.
Oh, wait, did Cajun get kicked?
I don't believe so. We just
No.
we moved you into the casting room for your
Oh,
interview.
oh, okay, okay.
Yes, normally I prep my interviewees, but because you were all in the public call for me, I just yoinked you up without any notice. So you
And
did earn MVP for the map tonight, or not the map, the match tonight.
for PNR. And one thing I do gotta say is, Mighty, we did see a lot of great plays coming out of you. And one thing that was noted is that Froggy Bear was doing a great job being able to keep everyone engaged and active. And how do you prepare you and the team to be able to have great engagements like that?
I would say it's keeping up the morale, the spirit of the team, and making sure that we have like one lead person. So Crimson is usually our one who kind of dictates the planning of where the team goes and directs.
Yeah. And another thing I have to note was your first push on King's Row, you twice with the time ticking down with your backs against the wall, able to get some great pushes, especially onto the first objective and getting it all the way to the second one. And how do you communicate during those times where it's very stressful, especially when you're in overtime and having to get it all the way up to the next objective?
That's when, because usually what happens are our team's comms will die, and so I'm the one saying targets, targets. What target are we picking? And then once someone's like anybody from the team says something, I just repeat that over and over until I see them die on the death, on the upper right corner, and then I say, okay, next target, next target. So it's just target focusing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, you just had a absolutely great series. There's just only a couple plays that differentiated this series from going 3-0 in your favor. One thing I got to point out was your play of the game on Ilios, being able to just quickly swipe them all down. Who noticed that teleporter coming up and being able to set up as y'all did?
That was DJ. So DJ Breaks is typically our team's like support. And he usually doesn't play like he wants to switch over to DPS, but because he has the support, he sees. I guess he has more awareness. He's the one that found out because we made it to a point where like, wait, they're not there, and he's like, oh, they have a sim. Yeah. So that yeah, DJ spotted it, and we just did our best to capitalize.
And
Def-
capitalize you did. You took everybody by storm for your quick reaction, and the Maywall just pushing the bulk of them off by your
Yep.
teammate was just oh, it was so many chef kisses right there.
Thank you. Yep.
and is there anything that you would want to say to everyone listening today?
Thank you for watching and supporting the Prospect eSports Showdown. Uh, Maybe, hopefully, we'll be there for next season. And it was a good time. Our team learned a lot, and I think that's how the game should be. You learn as a player and as a team, and have fun.
Of course. And I know that's all the questions that I have. Laura, do you have any questions for Mighty Owl?
Not so much as a question as just a huge thank you from the Prospect Esports Showdown team to you guys. You helped fill in a free agent team, and I'm forever in PNR's debt. You guys, mm, I know you learned a lot, and this was a struggle for you guys because you were pretty much brand new at the start of this. So I think you've come a long, long way. Now, I do have one note how you said, maybe next time we do have an off-season goats, which a lot of people just come for the pure fun of it. So maybe we'll see you for off-season goats. If not, definitely for season 4, which will be in a few months, probably 3 or 4, I think.
I was gonna say the off-season goats is what actually found like how I got into another team because one of my servers that discords that I'm in, they said, "Hey, the Prospect Esports Showdown is doing the goats tournament. Do you want to join?" We're like, "Sure," and it was so much fun that from there it just stemmed into more of the Overwatch community. So I think it's great you guys host that.
Oh yeah, that is right. Thank you so much for reminding us that. So
Mhm.
yeah, we do have a excuse me, a goats during wow, my voice. It's like I'm just caught up by the goats and how beautiful it is. Um, uh, I do remember because we got a lot of your friends also
Mhm.
through that Goats tournament. I played like one match out of Goats, and it is a lot of fun. Well,
Mhm.
thank you so much, Mighty, for being with us
Absolutely.
and enjoying or entertaining our interview questions. I will be
Mm.
getting Peter Panning, who unfortunately was voted most shittiest player.
Oh no.
This is just for fun.
All
We
right.
always try to push the audience to pick a most shittiest player from the winning team as well. So I will be dragging you down and grabbing them. Thank you again,
Okay.
Mighty.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I will just quickly let them give a heads up, Mike, if you could
Hmm.
just talk a little bit about your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I do gotta say is, even though that they were named MSP, it's not one of those bad versions of it that we see in time and time again. It's one of those things that we just couldn't find anything else to really nitpick here. As Slipstream showing why they're the number 4 team in this conference and earning themselves a playoff berth. Slipstream did a phenomenal job tonight being able to capitalize on PNR's mistakes, and even though that they did over ult sometimes, they were able to quickly build back up in the poke phase, and that's something that you want to see, especially out of a team at this level that is in high silver, low gold. We could easily see them in a higher division coming next year.
Yeah, they could definitely see that coming. Slipstream is a strong team. We do have a lot of teams that graduate once they have more time in their bank to or excuse me, their intermediate division, which is our next tier. We have Peter Panning with us, who was voted as most shittiest player of Slipstream. I try to warn them, it's just a title. It's nothing personal.
Peter, how are you feeling after the win today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I mean, I'm the healer, and I hold that the healer's the easiest role to play, other than getting yelled at when someone dies. But it feels it feels pretty good. I mean, we've had a few rough matches, but we've had a few good ones, and overall, I'm definitely enjoying it.
And one thing I have to note is you didn't it wasn't one of those things that you earned MSP. We had so much trouble trying to pull someone out of there because your team just very well coordinated and everyone playing together. The only reason why you got it, it was just because we saw a couple coalescences that, were a little bit questionable. Nothing too bad because Moira, gets their ultimate so quickly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she can use them almost on cooldown. And so yeah, it was a
I
super
do that actually quite a lot.
yeah. It's a very Moira-esque thing to do. I've been there, I've done that. Now,
But
building on the question of how do you feel tonight? How do you feel going into the playoffs against Gannicus?
Pretty good. I mean, we've played Gannicus before, and I was overall, you know, okay with our performance against them last time, and we've had a little bit more time to face off against a few more people, work on a couple of things, and I think we'll go into it pretty strong.
definitely. And how do you start preparing for that? Do you go back and start watching the film about what they like to do? Do you go back and watch some VODs just on the other team?
honestly, and this is actually probably gonna like concrete the shittiest player thing. No, I don't do any of that actually. My thing is like I go to my teammates, I ask them like, what do you think was my biggest screw up that match, and I go into a few games working on that, trying to get better and not do those things like say using ult on cooldown.
Definitely. And uh, Slipstream, I would say with how I saw y'all play today, you're only a couple tweaks away from making it to this next division because as a support player, you kept your tanks very active and engaged, either if it was Cardinal or if it was Cajun or just anyone that you throw in there. You were able to just keep them going with Snurk. Snurk also getting the MVP honors. But Peter, you were able to do a phenomenal job just keeping everyone actively engaged in these team fights.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad to hear it come out that way because in team comms it usually goes. I wish you would heal the DPS more. Heal the DPS. I'm like, well,
Uh,
the DPS don't always keep us in the fights. The tanks do. So
yeah,
I'll
Yes.
babysit them, and you know where I'm at if you need the heals.
yeah, definitely having almost two flex support lineups is a little bit more rare in compositions. Normally, you have your main support on your traditional main support roles, but Moira being able to pocket the tanks and let Ana, focus on their sleeps, focus on their nades is sometimes, excuse me, sometimes really helpful. Um, I, Moira is definitely a close range healer, and if DPS needs healing, they should get a health packet.
That's no, that's very accurate.
you
Yeah,
know?
me and Avalex get into it a few times because he likes to push a little bit too far forward on occasion and gets upset. But I'm like, man, health packs or get behind the tanks, man. I promise you won't die if that's the case.
Yeah, Avalex is able to get some really amazing off angles being
Oh
on
yeah.
Echo, and it's definitely been a treat to play. Puma, do you have any more questions? Or not to play, but to watch. Puma, do you have any more questions?
I'm all set on my end. I don't know if you have any other questions, Lore.
Not really. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter. Again, it's just a title. We don't hate you. We think you played amazingly tonight. All of Slipstream did. Um, and it's just been a pleasure to interview you.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure being interviewed by you guys. Know, y'all are great. I definitely like the league.
Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I will be dragging you down. Thank you again, Peter.
Absolutely.
Oops, I clipped him off again.
Oh, it happens from time to time. But
It's kind
once
of like
again, congratulations to Slipstream solidifying themselves into a playoff berth here. Not an easy path to make their way in, but nonetheless, you have your ticket in, and that's all that matters in the end. Doesn't matter what seed you get into, you have your ticket in, and now it's time to make some noise going into next week's playoffs.
yes, and the next week's playoffs is going to have Gannicus v Slipstream, Frostnova, and Josh. Now, Mike or Puma, I know you are new to these teams. Josh is just full of Joshes, quite literally.
Huh.
Frost Nova is a strong team, as is Gannicus, so I'm excited to see next week playoffs. If you're a team that didn't make playoffs, this is our final goodbye to you for only this season. Please, please, please come back for our GOATS off season, and of course our fourth season for 222. This is the final casted match for this week, but we will have more matches, of course, for our playoffs. Now, we do have our map picks, our map pool live for playoffs. It is a first to four format, and we will be announcing the map sometime later today if it hasn't been already. But you know what? Because you're watching, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. I just have to grab it. Oh, Nikki, I just saw your message. MSP is always only on the winning team because it's almost insult to injury to do it on the losing team. But I did it almost every single week until I was corrected multiple times. Oh, whoopsie.
Oh yikes! I that's a little bit of insult to injury if you pull it off of the losing team. I would have I would not enjoy being pulled in for that.
Yeah, it made interviews very cringy, and it was just ladled with "You're not shit, I promise." Excuse me. So I do have that map pull in front of me. Can I get a little drum roll? That was my drum roll. So for first pick, we have Busan, Lijiang, and Oasis. For second, we have Hanamura, Volskaya, Temple of Anubis. Fourth, Nubani, Blizzard World, Hollywood. Of course, for last, Junkertown, Route 66, Havana. We pretty much rotate through those maps, the lowest seed getting first pick, and then rotating through that four until all of the maps are done, or we have a first to four situation.
And I'm very excited for this. I love best of sevens because anything can really happen. You see a lot of times teams going up 2-1, even 3-1, and they don't get the best end of the team play. And you could just see a lot of potential out of these teams and just the extended amount of time that they have going up to four in a best of seven format, that these teams do have time to make comebacks and make the adjustments possible.
For sure, when you have a longer playoff structure, there we go, that's the right word. You have that ability to bounce back. You have the reverse sweeps that can happen. Or yesterday, like we saw in Hammer Down, we have the reverse sweep of a reverse sweep of a reverse sweep. Crazy things can ensue, and it's just a pleasure to cast and to play in structures that are first to four for playoffs.
And I believe that's going to be everything on our side. I don't believe we're missing anything else. But I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone coming in today and watching this. A huge shout out to Slipstream and PNR. Congratulations to Slipstream to making it. And PNR, we're looking forward to seeing you in the future. Once again, you're just a couple of adjustments away from being one of these top notches teams in this division. And just good luck to Slipstream going on for next week.
Absolutely, Puma. I am your co-host, Leroy, and we will see you guys all next week. That schedule is going to be out soon. Pay attention for our playoffs for Prospect Esports Showdown Season 3.